Welcome to the second lesson of our course on the history of Palestine. In this lesson, we will explore the early civilization that inhabited ancient Palestine, focusing on the Canaanites, Philistines, and Israelites. We will also examine the rise of ancient kingdoms in the region and their lasting impact on the historical and cultural landscape of Palestine. Let's first address the Canaanites, the first inhabitants. The Canaanites are considered the earliest known inhabitants of Palestine, establishing a significant cultural and economic presence in the region. Let's see the origin and settlement. The Canaanites are believed to have settled in the region during the early Bronze Age, around 3000 BCE. They were a Semitic-speaking people who established city-states throughout what is now modern-day Palestine, Lebanon, and parts of Syria and Jordan. Key Canaanite cities included Jericho, Megiddo, Hazor, and Jerusalem. These cities were fortified and served as centers of trade, religion, and governance. Let's see the culture and society. The Canaanites were known for their advanced agricultural practices, which were well suited to the region's diverse landscape. They cultivated grains, olives, and grapes and contributed to the prosperity of their city-states. Canaanite society was polytheistic, worshipping a pantheon of gods and goddesses, with El, Baal, and Asherah being some of the most prominent deities. Temples and altars dedicated to these gods were central to Canaanite religious life. The Canaanite also developed a system of writing known as Ugaritic script, which is one of the earliest known alphabets. This writing system influenced later alphabets, including the Phoenicians, which in turn influenced Greek and Latin scripts. Let's explore the relations with neighboring civilizations. The Canaanites were in contact with several neighboring civilizations, including the Egyptians, Mesopotamians, and Hittites. These interactions are often marked by trade, cultural exchange, and at times, conflict. Egypt exerted significant influence over Canaan during the New Kingdom period, from 5050 to 1070 BCE, as evidenced by Egyptian inscriptions and artifacts found in Canaanite cities. However, the Canaanites maintained a distinct cultural identity despite this influence. The Canaanites laid the foundation for the region's urban and cultural development, and their legacy can be seen in the archaeological remains of their cities and the continued influence of their language and region. Let's now explore the Philistines, a new power in the land. The Philistines were one of the sea peoples who migrated to the eastern Mediterranean around the 12th century BCE. They became dominant force in the coastal regions of ancient Palestine. Let's see the origins and migration of Philistines. The Philistines are believed to have originated from the Aegean region, possibly from Crete or other nearby islands. They migrated to the Levant during a period of widespread upheaval known as the Late Bronze Age collapse. Upon arrival, the Philistines settled in the coastal area of southern Palestine, establishing the Pentapolis, 5 major cities: Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Ekron, and Gath. Let's see the Philistine society and culture. The Philistines are often depicted in historical texts as fierce warriors, and they were known for their military prowess. They employed advanced weaponry and chariots, which contributed to their success in battles against neighboring people, including the Israelites. Culturally, the Philistines were distinct from the Canaanites and Israelites. They introduced new pottery styles, which archaeologists have used to identify Philistine sites. Their pottery often featured intricate designs and was of higher quality than that of their contemporaries. The Philistines also had their own religious practices, with temples dedicated to their gods such as Dagon. However, their religion and culture were eventually influenced by the surrounding Canaanite and Egyptian practices. Let's explore the conflict with the Israelites. The Philistines are best known for their conflicts with the Israelites as recorded in the Hebrew Bible. These conflicts included famous battles such as the one between David and Goliath, a Philistine warrior. The Philistine threat prompted the elites to transition from a loose confederation of tribes to a more centralized kingdom under Saul and later David, who would establish Jerusalem as the main capital of the Israelite kingdom. The Philistines played a crucial role in shaping the political landscape of ancient Palestine, particularly through their interactions and conflicts with the Israelites. Let's now see the Israelites from the tribes to kingdom. The Israelites, a Semitic people like the Canaanites, emerged as the significant group in ancient Palestine during the late Bronze Age and early Iron Age. Let's see the origin and early history of the Israelites. The Israelites trace their origins to the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, with tradition rooted in the region of Canaan. According to biblical tradition, the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt and later led to freedom by Moses in the Exodus, which brought them back to Canaan. The settlement of the Israelites in Canaan is described in the biblical book of Joshua, where they are depicted as conquering the land through a series of military campaigns. However, archaeological evidence suggests a more gradual and complex process of settlement involving both conquest and peaceful integration. How was the Israelite kingdom formed? Initially, the Israelites were organized as a confederation of 12 tribes, each associated with one of Jacob's sons. These tribes were united by a common religious tradition centered on the worship of Yahweh. The period of the Judges, as described in the Hebrew Bible, was marked by decentralized leadership, with various tribal judges rising to prominence during times of crisis. The constant threat from external enemies, especially the Philistines, led to the establishment of a monarchy. Saul, from the tribe of Benjamin, was anointed as the first king of Israel around the 11th century BCE. However, it was David, the second king, who established Jerusalem as a political and religious tribe, capital of the Israelite kingdom. Let's see the united and the divided kingdoms. Under King David and his son Solomon, the Israelites' kingdoms reached its zenith, with a strong centralized government, a standing army, and extensive building projects, including the first temple in Jerusalem. Solomon's reign was marked by peace and prosperity, but also by heavy taxation and forced labor, which caused discontent among the northern tribes. After Solomon's death, the kingdom split into two, the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah. The divided kingdom eventually fell to external powers, with Israel conquered by the Assyrians in 722 BCE and Judah by the Babylonians in 586 BCE, leading to the Babylonian exile. The rise of the Israelite kingdom had a profound impact on the region, shaping the religious, cultural, and political landscape of ancient Palestine. The legacy of Israelites continued to influence the region's history and identity to this day. Let's see the rise of ancient kingdoms in Palestine. The early civilizations of Palestine gave rise to several important kingdoms that played a pivotal role in the region's history. The Kingdom of Israel. The northern kingdom, known as Israel, was more populous and wealthy than its southern counterpart, Judah. It had significant trade relations with neighboring Phoenicia and Aram, modern-day Syria. The Israel's capital shifted between several cities, including Shechem, Tirzah, and Samaria. The kingdom was known for its religious diversity, often blending Yahwistic practices with Canaanite and Phoenician worship, which was criticized by prophets in the Hebrew Bible. Israel's downfall came when the Assyrian Empire expanded westward, capturing Samaria and deporting many of its inhabitants, an event that led to the concept of the lost tribes of Israel. Let's see the Kingdom of Judah. The southern kingdom, Judah, centered around Jerusalem, was smaller and less prosperous than Israel, but had a more homogeneous population and a stronger focus on Yahwistic worship. Judah's kings, descended from David, maintained a dynasty in Jerusalem, and the city became the spiritual center of the Jewish people, particularly after the construction of the first temple by Solomon. Judah managed to survive the Assyrian conquest that destroyed Israel, but it eventually fell to the Babylonians. The destruction of the temple and the Babylonian exile were pivotal events in Jewish history, shaping the development of Judaism. There were also some other ancient kingdoms. Besides Israel and Judah, the region saw the rise and fall of other kingdoms and city-states such as Moab, Edom, and Ammon. These kingdoms were often in conflict with Israel and Judah, but also engaged in alliances and trade. The region's strategic importance meant that these kingdoms frequently interacted with and were influenced by larger empires like Egypt, Assyria, and Babylon. The rise of these ancient kingdoms marked a period of significant cultural and political developments in Palestine. The legacy of these kingdoms, particularly Israel and Judah, have had a lasting impact on the region and on world history. It's time to conclude the lesson. In this lesson, we have explored the early civilization of ancient Palestine, focusing on the Canaanites, Philistines, and Israelites, and the rise of the ancient kingdoms in the region. These civilizations and kingdoms played a crucial role in shaping the history, culture, and religious landscape of Palestine. As we move forward in the course, we will see how the legacies of these early inhabitants continued to influence in the region in subsequent centuries. Thank you.